Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Paulina or Travel with Thuo. On this channel, I talk about travel information or how you can immigrate to different countries without using agent or traveling consultant. So basically, I give information on how you can process your travel by yourself by providing you with the right information and you doing the work for yourself. So today is an amazing day and I'm going to be talking about Canadian tourist visa. Okay, and so many people have been asking me, oh, I want to go to Canada, how can I apply for a tourist visa? I don't know, I did this, I did not get my visa. So I'm going to be taking you through the eligibility criteria, the requirements and application process, plus the cost of a Canadian tourist visa. So, Canadian tourist visa, also referred to as Canadian temporary resident visa (TRV), TLV, there are two types of Canadian tourist visa. We have single entry and multi-entry visa. And for single entry is up to 6 months. For multi-entry visa is up to 10 years. Or 1 month before your passport expiring date. So it's really important for you to make sure that your passport will not expire soon when you're going to apply for that visa. So for example, if you're going for a super visa, which the cost of single entry and multi-entry, that is super visa, is one and the same. So make sure that your passport has more years, if that's what I'm supposed to say, before it expires. So let's look into eligibility criteria. What makes you eligible to get a Canadian tourist visa? What do you need? And so the second thing we're going to look into is eligibility criteria and what is required of you to be eligible to apply for a Canadian tourist visa or visitor visas. So number one, eligibility is you need to have a valid passport. So a valid passport is a must. If you don't have a passport, go get a passport first. And now you can think of applying for a Canadian tourist visa. Number two, you have to be in good health condition where medical test might be required. You have to go for medical test before you get your Canadian tourist visa. Number three, you must not have any criminal records. Okay, that's why if you're from Kenya or from any other part of the world, you need your police clearance form to present it while you're going to apply for your Canadian tourist visa. Number four, you must show that you have enough fund to sustain yourself during your stay in Canada. So you need to have cash. And number five, you must prove that you intend to return to your country after your stay in Canada. So for example, if you're asking for a tourist visa or you're going to visit a friend, a family, or a spouse in Canada, and you have to prove that when you go there, you're going to come back. And that's where they ask for ties. Do you have a property back home? Do you have a job back home? Do you have a stable job back home? Do you have a business back home? Do you have a family back home that when you go to Canada, it will tie you from not staying in Canada and coming back to your country? So you have to prove that. And number six, you must state how long you're going to stay in Canada. So despite you getting a super visa, for example, my son got a Canadian tourist visa, super visa for 10 years, but he only went there for 10 days because they were going there to do some activities and then come back. So if you're an adult and you're planning to go and stay there for 1 week, you have to state that. So you have to provide your travel itinerary. So the next thing that we are going to be looking into is the documents that you need for your application. And number one, again, you will need to have a valid passport. Number two, you will need to have documents to prove your ties with your native country. Okay, so you need to show maybe your birth certificate to show that for sure you're a Kenyan, for sure you're Tanzanian, for sure you are Nigerian. So you'll need to prove your ties with your native country. Number three, you will need 2 recent passports, okay, with white background. 2 recent passports. It's always good to take the passport photo whenever you're going to do your application. Okay, don't use like 6-month-old passport photo. Because it might lead to you being denied your Canadian tourist visa. Number four, you will need an invitation letter in case you're going to visit a family and you're planning to stay with them where in Canada. They will be required to send you an invitation letter. The next thing that you will need under documentation is a return ticket and travel itinerary. Okay, you will need to show a return ticket to and from. Okay, and also they might require some additional documents, and you must provide those documents. Any additional documents that they may require, you have to provide those documents. And the last but not least is you have to have a bank statement. Okay, you have to prove that you have enough fund to sustain yourself during your stay in Canada. So the next thing that we're going to be looking to is how to apply. How do you apply for a Canadian tourist visa? Okay. Number one, due to COVID, right now you can do your application online through Canada.ca website. That is the official government website. And number one thing is you have to check if you're eligible to apply for a Canadian tourist visa. Okay, eligibility. Is your country eligible for applying for a Canadian tourist visa? And due to COVID, you have to be fully vaccinated before you apply for Canadian tourist visa, or you still have to show proof of your vaccination certificate. Okay. Number two, you will need your supporting documents. All those supporting documents should be there. And the next thing you do after you've confirmed your eligibility, after you've confirmed you have all the documents, those are the documents that I've talked about previously. Your passport, document that proves ties with your native language, country, invitation letter, return ticket, all those documents. And now you can go ahead and apply online. Okay. There's an account that you need to create, that is IRCC portal. You need just to go create an account or profile, then sign up, and that's where you're going to upload your application, your online application. You're going to fill in all your online application and upload all your documents. Okay. Payments. So when it comes to payment, for a single entry or multiple entry or super visa, all cost the same thing. That is 100 Canadian dollar and 500 Canadian dollar for a family of 5 or more people. So for example, if you're planning to visit Canada as a family and you're more than 5, you just need to pay 500 Canadian dollar. Even if you're 7, 8, 9, 10, you just pay the 500 Canadian dollar per family. Okay, per family. The next cost is if you want to extend your stay in Canada. For example, you had applied for a tourist visa for 6 months, and you go to Canada and you want to extend your stay, you have to pay 100 Canadian dollar for extension. And then if you want to restore your status as a visitor, you need to pay 200 Canadian dollars. So after all that is done, after you've done your payments, now is where you go for fingerprints or biometrics. You upload your fingerprints and your photo, and now your application is done. But if you don't provide all the documents required, they are going to return your application to you. Okay, they are not going to process your application, so you have to make sure that you've provided all the documents that they ask for. And if everything is good, then your documentation or your application will be approved, and you can wait for your visa. After they approve your documentation or your application, they'll ask you to send your passport to the nearest RCCC. Okay, so if you're in Nairobi, you have to take your passport to Canadian Embassy in Nairobi. Or if you're using VFS Global, that's another case, because you'll be dealing with them. You don't have to go to the Canadian Embassy. And I guess that's all about Canadian visa. If you have more questions, make sure to leave them in the comment box below. I'm going to link the Canadian website, the official Canadian website, on this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It's free to subscribe. Make sure that your bell icon is on so that you may be notified whenever I post a video. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up, give this video a thumbs up, and see you in our next one.